This video here, hey, how's it going? This is Jedi Steve. This video here is about racial unprofiling. And the knowledge and the wisdom that I'm spitting off in this video will help you even if you have absolutely no issues with police officers. When you come together in any type of confrontation, can you hear me now? Oh, you can't hear me because he doesn't have the sound on. Oh, thanks. Anytime you come together with any altercation, you're sharing one mind with somebody. Anytime you come together in a conversation, anytime you come together, you're sharing one mind. So if a police officer stops you, they may have a certain profile for you. And all is you have to do, instead of feeding into the profile that's in their mind and becoming that profile, what you do is you can start giving evidence, like it's a court case, that you're not that person. So if they think your certain race has a lot of anger, and then all of a sudden or you're violent, when you're reacting in violent ways, that adds to the story of that's in their mind, and then you're becoming it. And then once you react to that, they have certain beliefs of how, if I was put in this situation and somebody's angry towards me, I'm going to do this. And when you look in the mirror and you see yourself in the mirror, you see one person. When you put two mirrors together, you see an unlimited amount of mirrors forever. So when you're projecting a certain profile, and then the other person's projecting a certain profile, then it continually goes again and again and again. So it's not just two people coming together, it's that mind, and then it's that projection, which can be years and years of evidence that they have in their mind and them doing the job. So when you unprofile yourself, you break the mirror. One of the things that I do anytime I'm stopped by a police officer, voice is very important. So you make eye contact. Number one thing, that's what they tell you. And police do not like fast motions, like quick movements. They don't like quick movements, and they don't like lateral movements, if you see, from side to side. They do not like lateral movements, because I think it has something to do with, like, nobody pulls a gun up like this. They pull a gun quick, and they pull a gun with their hand to the side like that as they pull it out. So in their training, they have lots of stimulus with as they're going in their training, which they don't do as much training as you would like. So as it's going, hands at your side, direct eye contact. I've had several arguments with police officers, unprofiling myself, where my communication is focused and straight to the point with no quick movements, like in any way. And this keeps them and puts evidence to the other side. Then they can do the background. Then they can look at my ID, and then that evidence, that the fact that I have a totally clean record, cleaner than anybody that's watching this video. I have a total clean record, that they are able to have that evidence to the side. A lot of organizations say that you shouldn't have to show your ID, and that's something that the police officer says all resistance will be met with force. There's no clear-cut description of what resistance is. So when you're resisting in any way, like you not putting your hands on top of your head, could be considered resistance. So it's going to be met with force. Force isn't totally defined at what it is. I mean, there's basic. So if you're resistance, force, it's just like projected in a mirror. Even like people around you. I remember one of my friends was saying, white guy, his dad owns like several banks type thing, And he said he was resisting the cops, and the cops put their hand in his face and said, "You want to go to jail?" And then I was trying to pull him away from them, and then they put their hand in my face and said, "Do I want to go to jail?" And then I just fucking I let my friend walk towards him. And luckily they were looking for something else, so we didn't get in a situation. But it was like really, really funny that it was like that even me trying to help them out was considered resistance. So they have a certain protocol which isn't as clear cut. Their protocol is ass tight with a bunch of lawyers when they show up to court. But when they're in the streets, their protocol isn't that much. I've had a simple situation where the police officer stopped me because he had seen me walking around a lot. He had stopped me and asked me what I was doing. And I said, "I'm going to lunch with my mom." And then he didn't have any follow-up questions because he was like, "Holy shit, I fucking gotta fucking rethink my whole protocol because I didn't think that the African-American dude with dreads had a mom." So it just like totally thrown him off. I read children's books. That totally throws him off. Profiling myself. But the shit I say is true. I just happened to be going to lunch with my mom on that day. So live a strength-centered life, and then you're gonna be in there. So eye contact. You could profile with your voice. Make eye contact. No fast movements or no lateral movements, because police officers hate that. I make a joke that you'll never see police officers at a salsa dancing class because salsa dancing has a lot of lateral movements, and just they're thinking of them as like Hitler's army. They're like the stormtroopers for Hitler. And I don't think that attitude when they're around, because I don't want to think that, oh, these people are Hitler type thing. Because you're putting a lot of evidence, or I don't think, oh, my people have suffered for 435 years. Because that puts you with a bad attitude, which you're going into that projection that they set, and you're creating what they don't want. So as a police officer is there, think, okay, this person's fearful, and I'm not going to create in the mirror more fear. So I was like, okay, they're fearful. If I'm fearful too, then I'm fitting their profile, and then that will project them to do more stupid things. Another thing that I had done was I created a vision for something as to sell as a protest that a lot of police officers wear those bulletproof vests, and those bulletproof vests are bulky. If I'm in a closed space, I'm more apt, and I'm fearful in a closed space, like in a room or something like that, I'm more apt to take a swing faster than if I'm outside. Outside, I can buy a lot more time. A lot of time, these police officers, because their bulletproof vests aren't ergonomically correct, they sometimes take the jump a lot faster. Why should it? You see lots of videos online. Why should I weigh 150 pounds? Why should it take sometimes 4 officers to take a guy down my size? Because a lot of times they're getting the jump early. A lot of them aren't good trained fighters, so they take the jump early, and they have those bulletproof vests. It's like fighting in cement. I mean, why do people stretch before sports? Because they want to make their body ergonomically correct to do the right battle. And when you're fit and more confident, you burn less energy. So a lot of time, what I did is I created this vision, sold as a protest, and I gave 90% of the ownerships to the right to this ergonomically bulletproof vest to some African Americans in their 20s, based on, this is how I do things. Not me just all about talk. This is the way that you do things to get conscious things done. And I've talked to some police officers about it, and they buy into the idea for a little bit, but this is something that I know will save lives. And I'm not I'm not blowing my load and all that, because I know there's certain powers that don't want this done. But I think most people are inherent with good. Most people are inherent with good, even people in power positions, but they're so used to making low vibrating decisions. So one thing that you could do on the streets, don't find yourself in the mirror that you're projecting more of the fear that the police have, or more of the vision, and you're actually becoming the person that they think you are. So when they profile you, unprofile yourself. When they profile you, unprofile yourself. Don't buy into it. That's what one of the reasons, like even with the protests that are going on, a lot of times people, it's the same mirror. When you have 100 people, nice, you are the streets, nice. When you have 100 people that are projecting when Arturo's the streets, yes, you are the streets for sure. When you have 100 people that are projecting a certain, and the crowd sharing a mind that's going on, a lot of times you may not know, you might like have 20 years of being somebody that is not prone to violence or is not prone to resisting, and then all of a sudden you're put in that situation. I remember the first time, one of the times I got stopped on a college campus that I was doing a lot of good on there, on campus. I got stopped by the police, and the police officer said he was going to frisk me, and then he clinged both his finger like around like this around my pinky, and I like had 35 years of living my life that I would never resist. And then all of a sudden I thought he was cuffing me, and my first reaction in my mind was to go like this. But instead, since I meditate, I took a nice deep breath to relax myself, because I just like primal urges. So there's a lot of times in their training, they're doing stuff to trigger you, and they may not know. The guy might not have any bad intentions, but he may have the mindset that all resistance will be met with force. So how do you align and comply without becoming part of their consciousness and turning into something that they're triggering you into it, and becoming the profile that exists there? And it can be as small and a nice conscious breath to keep you in that place, to avoid that conflict. Hey, Mr. Arturo, we should get together to like really do an interview talking about some stuff like this, from your knowledge of martial arts, BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, let's do some video like this, because I've never had a police that wants to take my offer, because they're not even their own person. They can't even like go off and say, oh, I'm the police on the diet. Hey, let's talk about something that's totally conscious like this. They can't do it, and trust me, I'm not going to paint them into a corner. I'm not that type of person. Could do it, but I'm not going to do it, because they have certain things that they say, like, oh, as long as I make it home to my family type thing. I understand that's a goal that we all have, and I understand they're doing a lot of good. That job isn't, I know a lot of the police officers on campus that have experienced certain things with it. They have to, a student commits suicide, they have to go get the body and everything like that. So I understand a lot of stuff that they're going through it. But anybody comes up to me and starts barking orders, I'm not a big fan of that. But I'm not going to go into my primal consciousness with their primal fears. I'm not going to. I know how that can end sometimes. So this is all about keeping it safe. It's not about me being a punk or anything like that, because I'm not. I will. All I'm about is making sure that something ends, and it's a safety thing. So Arturo, let's hook up and let's get some content online. This is the beginning of it. Peace. Peace.